Hello everyone and welcome back to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, where trial started and the judge is having to do all the work. Met our new prosecutor, he's weird. Christoph Gavin was who I was trying to think of.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
I am the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackwell here.
I also heard you would provide protection if it ever came to that.
It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what? Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even old Blackwell here. Fulbright, save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. That's the spirit. Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you.
Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright.
Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss.
Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious.
Yeah, probably.
Now let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright.
You got it. But first, I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. Witness testimony about the murder. Alright. Alderman Kyubi was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Kyubi was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back.
Alderman Kyubi had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug?
That's right, the accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Oh, probably could have used that at the start of the trial, not partway. Anyway, cause of death, stabbed with a spear, estimated time of death around 3:20. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber.
The victim managed to attack his attacker despite being impaled by a spear? That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible?
Well, he was a former pro wrestler, after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him. It kind of killed him. Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink. I don't know. It still sounds a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade. Why does he have a weapon? I didn't sign up for this. And so your life is spared. For now. Your Honor, hostile work environment. I like to complain to HR. Physical shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, for my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. Oh, you're gonna have to quit after this, dude. If you met Detective Gumshoe, I'm sure you two will get along. The accused prints were on the weapon, and he's the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree, your baldness?
The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute, and I don't like being here. It has nothing to do with being scared of the prosecutor, but I would like to leave.
Has the judge... He has a judge leaning toward a guilty verdict, and the trial's just barely begun. What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks a merger for the purpose of freeing Tenmataro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwards burg. You gotta lie! Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman. That mayor's a strange one, all right.
I heard he went into a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. Order! There will be no gossiping in my court unless I'm involved. Can someone get drinks?
Your baldness. Please take a gander at the charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenmataro. Then again... religious persecution, man. Perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold! The lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment.
Hold it!
The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement. I think.
Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they?
The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud. Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here. Ooh, thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. The power suggested is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impression to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news.
In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker?
None other than the statue right here.
It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle.
Two yokai, to be exact. On one side is the nine-tailed fox and the other Tenmataro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though this very case were rendered in art. Fox and demon statue updated. The mayor's blood was found out, but no prints could be lifted.
Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Alright, we got this.
Hold it!
So those weapons on the wall of the Fox chamber, I presume those are real? Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is rather dangerous? No matter what he collected, the alderman insisted it be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently, one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle. What? That's gotta be an old wives' tale. Ha ha ha! The alderman had pure, unadulterated justice flowing in his veins. Whatever he did it right. We've lost a real champion in justice in his death. Oh, he was crying, I didn't realize. Nothing but claptrap and balderdash if you ask me. Now stop your bleeding and tell us about the weapon. Your wish is my command. I don't like that. Defendant Damien Tenma were found in the murder weapon. It doesn't make sense if you think about it. Prince could be easily wiped off. You do have a point there. I'd venture to say he did not wipe the prince because he could not. What do you mean? Looks like he wants you to figure it out. Well, don't just stand there, show him who's boss. I'm totally lost. So why don't you just tell me the answer already? I don't think he saw that plea for help. You feeling alright, kid? Running a fever, perhaps? Which trials came with a reset button?
Well, the specifics may yet come to light. Please proceed, Detective Fulbright.
Wait, what about my objection? Time Alderman KB was asleep from drinking and wittingly ingested. Come to think of it, a coffee cup was found on the floor. Was a sedative in his coffee? Bingo! We found traces of a sleeping agent all over the inside of the cup. That is why he was out cold. That is, until he leapt to his feet upon being impaled by the mayor. What an awful way to wake up. A rather stimulating eye-opener if you ask me. I too would have risen to the attack, for to die in battle is the samurai way. Paradise awaits fallen heroes, but that hole in his stomach would make eating a challenge. He's weird. Prosecutor Blackwell, please! Those morbid jokes of yours have no place in this court. Says the jester in detective's guise. You should meet Gumshoe. Moving right along. So the alderman was drugged because he was really strong. Did you see those rock-hard muscles of his? I'm surprised the spear even managed to pierce that armor-like musculature. I admit I'm completely jealous of that righteous body of his. Well, he did look pretty buff, even in that suit he had on. Quite a difference when compared with a yellow belly like you. Yellow belly? Who even says that anymore? Yeah, and the color's all wrong, too. Oh, I know. How about a squishy red tomato? I move to strike both of your comments from the record.
Mr. Justice's character is not the issue here. Now let's get back to what happened after the far more muscular alderman was impaled.
Fantastic. Yes, well, your average person would likely have died on the spot. Grabbed a statue and struck back.
Hold it!
Could he really have attacked his attacker after being impaled with that huge spear? Absolutely. After all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged then speared was answered with a righteous counterattack. But does being a former pro wrestler make him superhuman? Absolutely. After all, he was one of the good guys, like a superhero on the side of justice. Even though he was retired, he could still don his superhero guise in times of need. You need to lay off the comic books, detective. We're talking about real life here. Setting aside the half-wit's flights of fancy, the fact is this. The court-ordered post-mortem concluded the victim moved after his skewering. So he found the strength somehow to attack his attacker, huh? Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds airtight. No wonder he's so confident. No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. The part about the alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. Yeah, okay. Murder of spear. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenmo, were found on the murder weapon. Nothing there. Uh-huh. Peeling him like a shish kebab. Okay, so this is what it wants me to... What do I got? I can present my attorney's badge. In the sudden pain, jolted, and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Is that a statue? The mayor's blood was found in it, but no prints could be lifted. There's no way he could have wiped the prints off.
Objection!
Got him. Did the alderman really strike the mayor? Ooh, what? Are you questioning my sense of justice? Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claimed the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him, but the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory.
It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the detective statue theory.
I mean, these are all kind of... Well, that one less so, but like, those two, definitely this one though. Because there's no way he could have wiped them off. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves.
Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed.
If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you? This can't be happening. Did I arrest the wrong man? Yes. You did it, Apollo. You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, that's just one point in our favor. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman? Well, if it wasn't the alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor. You mean there's a third party there in the Fox chamber? Exactly, and this could be the big break we've been looking for.
There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defendant's assertion?
I will respond by making up nonsense that will get you on my side. The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive. Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono. What? Justice Dono? I've been watching too many samurai flicks. It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship. This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell. Please keep that in mind. There's a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's. So, what are you getting at? Hone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on the cloth? Solve that riddle and you shall see the hole you thought you found is but an illusion. Let's see. How was that cloth used? Was it used... It's the right answer, isn't it? Do we have a... Oh, we don't have that. How do we not have that? Well... Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth. In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor. Ah! Precisely. Bully for you, boy. No, it was nothing. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did? Ah, I did. Right. That statue is wrapped in cloth. That a statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints is plain as day. But this also proves there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back. There are. Oops. Ah! Wrapped in a large cloth. Okay. Hold on. Now do you see how dull your mind is? I'll make sure to sharpen it next time. A particularly frightening inmate once told me that he always tenderly honed his blade before he went to work, like the samurai of yore.
The samurai sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me.
Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef?
It would seem that the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all.
It's kind of attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on that statue, who's to say someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer. Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you? Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks allegedly from a yokai were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue.
Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed that alderman?
That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection!
No, Athena, you just lost what little credibility we had left. Ah! Sorry, guess I got carried away.
Mr. Justice, we have no time to deal with objections between members of the defense.
Sorry, Your Honor. It's just, this kid's still, well, kid. Ouch. You meanie! I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright.
So is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it?
No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the alderman.
Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that?
Why indeed? Money!
Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is.
Ouch. This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. Why, Fulbright? Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks. What? You mean you can explain all that? Ha ha ha! Our investigative prowess is without equal. I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession.
Very well, let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks.
This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters, so he stoked the village's fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. Wait, what? Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears? Absolutely! He knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Tenma Taro, that is.
Tenma who?
Tenma Taro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon, and thus were they blinded to another, more plausible explanation. Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect?
Mr. Justice, please explain yourself.
On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at Kyubi Manor, and as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenma Taro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon. Dullard, you are playing right into the killer's mind games. What? Listen here, the feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believe the murder to be the work of the real Tenma Taro. However, the police believe that the person in Tenma Taro's suit is the killer. The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman. And thus, our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime. Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection.
The evidence speaks for itself. Fulbright. Right! It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and the hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice.
But do the people of Ninetales really believe a yokai is behind the crime?
Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds.
Just so, a particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey.
You don't say. Was this inmate a con artist?
No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey?
Yes, now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination.
Hold it!
Okay. Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong? Oh, absolutely! They parade around in yokai costumes shouting, "Down with Mayor Tenma!" And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like the leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenma Taro, the dark lord of their kind. Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenma Taro? I'm confused. I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy.
Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act?
Okay, makes sense. The amazing Ninetales, no one knows his true identity, right? That's right! And he was a lone wolf, or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. And before anyone knew it, he was a champion. Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. It was a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town Pro Wrestling. He was amazing! If ever there was a real superhero, it would be him. I dream of becoming a true champion of justice like him someday. I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwell. A police detective and a prisoner in chains? You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would. Ha ha ha! So you do understand the greatness that is the Amazing Nine Tails.
Hold it!
What? Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears? Absolutely! It had an immediate effect. The presumed return of the dreaded Mataro had them shaking in their boots.
Oh my, is it really that bad?
That superstitious lot, as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark a mass exodus.
You see, that's a very persuasive argument.
The thought of his honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now. So you see, there can be only one reason why anyone would plant those feathers in tracks.
Hold it!
Okay. But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with a murder? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman QB?
Excellent point.
It is, isn't it? So your honor agrees there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection.
Perhaps the killing was spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated. From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. But the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. A startling discovery? I don't like the sound of that. Alderman QB's secret identity. Apollo, I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good. This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's on the mask worn by the Amazing Nine Tails. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene.
No my, but why would it have been there?
And we'll just have to find out in the next episode. Alright, making some progress, learning some things. Like I said, I think I have the general gist of it, but we'll have to see how we get out of this one, because we've got an uphill climb for sure. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.